change except for renovations and the addition of a freezer for the entire system. The teacher planning area, we're giving them a teacher's lounge and a planning area. Currently, there's just one small room over here that they have their lunch in. And there's a substantial increase in storage throughout the building. You're welcome. Yes, sir.
Question on the renovations now. The renovations are obviously things that need to be done. Now, if they weren't lumped in with the addition, we wouldn't get...
We wouldn't get 64%,
get
yes, correct. We
64%,
play
right.
space, full
So,
allowance.
are we going to get that out to the voters?
Absolutely.
To let them know that, we're being smart about this?
Yes. And any information you can spread around town, if that's going to occur, would be
Feel free to
appreciated.
let it out.
Yeah. John?
I'm not being facetious, but my Italian's coming up now. Is there a way to think of putting, I'm not talking about building a plaza, but some kind of a flat area outside the music and the arts area?
In here?
The reason I'm talking to myself is the kids might want to display things outside.
Well, that is a courtyard that we planned on
In here?
Where's the courtyard?
developing
Right in here.
There is a courtyard?
Yeah.
here.
And what is it made of? Stone?
It is intended to be of concrete and it will be flat. It is that intention. It is a pedestrian plaza.
But John, you raised a good point. When we built this addition, we put solid walls in through here. That's why the lobby has that strange shape to it. So we could put up display cases outside the
Well,
office.
sometimes you want to go outside.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
If you look into this probably have you looked into encapsulating the asbestos flooring versus
We are investigating that, yes. One of, in fact, I was a very strong proponent of using carpet until I was really run out of time. So we are currently discussing with the Tile Institute about the possibility of putting tile over the existing one rather than instead of the new. So we can
those turn out to be shorter funds than might be able to
yes.
stretch the budget.
Right.
John?
We have a lot of light windows in the art.
Nail down a piece of plywood first.
Yes, that's the
And
intent.
we come from,
Some rubber,
talking
something,
about
maybe.
using the sun and all of this, everything.
Right.
And we're coming from the furthermost point to be developed on the border. Dr. Stroke was one further question.
Every one of them.
It says, kindergarten, if I read your slide, 6. And off to the right, that first slide, it says 10. K, that's the way I took it. Simple math says that's a 66% increase in the kindergarten program. I don't know if I'm going to have the children, I know I stopped, but hear me out. If you got a 66% increase at the lower end, do we have all the classrooms in the city, in the system plan, excluding the new school, that you can handle? I'm just saying, suppose we don't get the new school, and you've got a slide up there. Those children have to go someplace in the system, if I read the data right. Am I reading the data right?
Well, yes and no. While I'm getting this overhead, Mr. Jervy, if you want to talk about that.
That 10 reflects the fact that we want to move to full-day kindergarten. Right now, we can use one kindergarten classroom for 2 kindergarten classes, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. But when we go to a full-day program, we can only put one classroom of children in that classroom. It actually reflects our hope that once all of the construction is complete and we have all the district lines in place, that we'll have 10 classes of kindergartners whereas right now we have 12. The expectation, frankly, is that we're looking at some kind of a population bubble. We're not building for the full number of classrooms that we might need at maximum, that there will be times when we have to make compromises, but that we're building a responsible plan which will house 3 classrooms of each grade at each of 2 schools and 4 at the 3rd school. We cannot do it without the 3rd school. We cannot do it without the 3rd school. To do it with the 3 existing schools, we will have to compromise every educational program. We'll have larger classroom sizes than we should. We'll have all of our music being taught in substandard conditions, all of our art. We cannot do it without the 3rd.
Children in kindergarten going in the morning and the afternoon?
Right.
Correct.
And there are 2 sections, so that actually represents 12 first grade classes. We had 12 sections of kindergarten last year. This year, they moved up and we have 12 first grades. Those 12 first grades will all move up and we'll have 12 second grades. So every time I've talked about enrollment projections, I've always said I've been conservative, and we're planning for a total of 10 classrooms per grade. And in reality, right now, this year, we have 12 sections of kindergarten and 12 sections of first grade. Next year, we're going to have 12 sections. So I'm hoping, as Mr. Jervy said, that we'll settle eventually on this 10. 10 per grade.
For the children in the class?
No, we're,
Never. Yeah. The kindergartens are in the same.
the kindergartens are, our class sizes are ranging from 20 to 25.
Those 12 kindergarten classes only occupy 6 classrooms currently.
And even though the state doesn't mandate full-day kindergarten, they are moving towards that, so we need to be ready
We
for
want
it.
it. They will.
We actually, if we had the space now, we'd be doing that because we would stand to receive additional state aid for that. We can't take advantage of it.
64%. I guess what it just happened a week ago. Somebody in Mamino staff got up and talked about all these schools that are going to and the number was 90% return. So I said, hey, we're third on the list in the state. We ought to be in there saying we're doing such a hell of a job. Can't we renegotiate this like and get 75 or 80? How come they get 80, 90%?
It
That's the
depends
way
on
they
the
segregation.
per capita income, the segment of the population, the reasons they need the school systems, especially segregation. That's the biggest criteria, and we don't fall into those.
There's 2 separate components. One is the percentage reimbursement, and that's based basically on the wealth of the community. The second component is the need. The need will determine how quickly you can get on the list. And so as Nancy mentioned, segregation, you'll get on the list. You'll move right to the top of the list, and other communities will fall further down. You can only hope the state
Did I get the
surplus.
number
Yes,
right?
you did.
I thought it was mumbo jumbo.
No.
It was talking about, I get 90%.
No, they're-
Well, we're doing so well in North Reading that I was notified last week that we're going to be undergoing an education reform audit. And starting tomorrow, I have 4 members from the state who will be with us for the next 6 to 8 weeks, looking at best practices in North Reading so they can find out ways to replicate it. So sometimes doing nice work causes you to do more work.
6 to 8 weeks. Goes to the state.
How many more people you gotta hire to walk around here?
Yeah.
I need to find time for myself.
They need space.
They expect space and computers.
I think, I understand we need to be conservative and say 6 half-day kindergarten, hopefully we'll only go to 10 full day, but I also, in looking at the projections and public relations, like the MCAS and what you just mentioned, I think a lot of the older homes that are sold that maybe don't have school-age children now, people with school-age children are going to look to move into North Reading. So even if there's no new construction,
Right.
I think that the school committee and the town also has to realize that there's going to be people, little kids moving to Mount Brennan for just that reason, and not to be too conservative. I mean, projections were a victim of our own success.
I know.
That's right. I was speaking to a realtor last week, and they said since the MCAS results have come out, that the phones have been ringing off the hook. People want to move to North Reading. Steve?
There's another side to that dilemma, though, and that's that schools that have more than 4 classrooms per grade are not as efficient, are not as effective. Schools with less than 3 classrooms per grade are not as effective. The core facilities at the Hood and the Little will not support 4 classrooms per grade. It's just pushing them too much. We can build that into the new school, and there is good reason to think that there is a population bubble that's hitting, and we've been discouraged from shooting for the moon when, you know, building those expectations on a bubble. It's a dilemma.
Good point to keep in mind. Do we have any other questions?
So there's a special election,
Yes, there is.
February 4th.
I'm going to talk about that.
The town paid $4,000 to have a special election, so how are you going to get the people?
Well, Mr. Pasquale, we're counting on you and other members that are here this evening. I know the Hood's Parent Association is going to be very involved in promoting this, and we hope that you'll pass the word that the special town meeting will be February 4th at 7 o'clock, and that you'll all come to support the project.
Now, there's a minimum number of voters we need at the town meeting, is that correct?
150.
Right.
You have to have a
Do
quorum.
we have to have a certain percentage of the voters voting at the special?
You need a
And
quorum.
an override?
No, I know that.
We need
the town meeting,
150
but I know
people
over-
at town
Right.
meeting, I believe.
Right. But we don't, there's no special percentage that we have to hit?
No.
You just have to
So
get
from
more than
special
half of
voting,
however
then-
many come out.
It's a majority vote.
Can we block off roads?
Then the override election will be held in March. What's the date? March 16th, it's tentatively scheduled for. Any other comments, concerns, questions? Yes?
When the designs were made for the new rooms, was there any consideration taken to if we had to at some point temporarily put a classroom in one of those rooms, as far as how easily could that be done?
Well, the music room and the art room are classrooms. And if we had to move the classroom out, they could move into either one of those rooms. And again, music could be on the stage or art on a car if you needed to use it. I mean, you have to make, alternate plans as needed.
That actually may be a problem at the little school next year, because all of the classrooms are used. And yet we're going to, we will have another second grade opening in Youngsville. So I'm willing to say which room it's going to be, where we may have to push out one of the preschool rooms, but I don't know where that's going to go.
Any other comments? Well, I'd like to thank you all for coming this evening. The community, rose up and supported us when we needed their help for the Little School project, and I would encourage anyone that hasn't seen it to please go over to the Little School and tour the building. Please contact, of course, the building principal first, but it's a beautiful, beautiful addition to the school. The second phase of our school building project continues to be the construction of a new school at Swan Pond, and the school committee is determined to see that through. Currently, we're working on modifications to the original design to address the concerns that the community brought forward, and we hope to bring this to North Reading at the town meeting in April. And of course, the final phase of the elementary project is what's before you this evening. And again, I'd like to ask each of you to please attend the special town meeting on February 4th at 7 o'clock at the Daniel Shea Auditorium at the high school. And please support the additions and the renovations to this project. If you have any other questions, please speak to either member in either the school committee, school building committee, and we can address your concerns, and I'll ask for your help in promoting the project within the community. It's only by word of mouth that we're really going to get this project off the ground. Thank you all for coming.